Part is you don't know what it's like until you are attacked. Yeah. And that's part of the reason I would like some of the men from Silicon Valley.
Sobrang di ko pa mapaniwala. Maraming salamat sa suporta. Sana patuloy yung suporta niyo sa...
Like, it was Facebook.
No, I mean, primarily Facebook, but, you know, I would say for 6 years, these are stats.
The Nobel Laureate has just shattered the internet. Maria Ressa's emotional tribute to Eala sent shockwaves across the globe, igniting social media and electrifying Filipino communities everywhere. The tension is palpable, the pride overwhelming, and the moment unforgettable. Welcome back to Cortiva Tennis, where we bring you the raw, unfiltered heartbeat of tennis glory wrapped in Filipino excellence. What you're about to hear isn't a routine sports update or match recap, it's the collision of two unstoppable Filipino forces who conquered their worlds against all odds. Just hours ago, timelines flooded, group chats erupted, and the internet went into meltdown after Maria Ressa, the Nobel Peace Prize winner known for her fearless pursuit of truth, delivered a heartfelt message that stopped the world in its tracks. Her praise was directed at none other than the phenomenal, history-making Eala. And if you think you've heard everything about Alex's rise, think again, because this moment transcends tennis. It's about legacy, representation, national pride, and two women who refuse to be defined by limitations. In a rare display of pure emotion, Ressa spoke with admiration and conviction, declaring, "She is making the Philippines shine brilliantly," words that have now become a rallying cry for Filipino sports fans from Manila to New York. Powerful as her words were, they barely scratched the surface of what Maria Ressa truly meant. This was no casual mention, no polite acknowledgement, and no routine congratulatory remark. What unfolded was something far deeper: recognition from someone who knows what it means to carry the weight of an entire nation on her shoulders. It was validation from a woman who has faced the most powerful forces imaginable and emerged victorious. This was one champion recognizing another, one warrior acknowledging the battles being fought by someone walking a similarly lonely and unforgiving path. Ressa didn't see Eala as merely a tennis player climbing rankings and collecting wins. She saw a symbol, a beacon of Filipino excellence on the world's most ruthless stage. With unmistakable conviction, she made it clear that what Alex is doing is not just for herself, but for something far greater. Let that sink in. Every time Alex steps onto the court, grips her racket, and locks eyes with her opponent, she isn't chasing personal glory or prize money, she is carrying the hopes, dreams, and aspirations of millions. Embodying the Filipino spirit of resilience and determination, Eala refuses to accept the limits others try to place on her. She is proving to the world that Filipinos belong on every stage and in every arena, competing at the highest level with anyone and everyone. Maria Ressa sees this clearly and understands it deeply, because she has lived the same truth on a very different battlefield. Her recognition has elevated Alex's journey from a remarkable sports story into something approaching national treasure status. And you might be wondering why this moment is happening now, why Maria Ressa, of all people, is speaking out about Eala at this exact time. The answer is simple. We are witnessing an extraordinary chapter in Alex's already historic rise. If you haven't been watching the WTA rankings, it's time to wake up, because a legitimate legend is being built in real time. Just days ago, Alex shattered her own career ceiling, breaking barriers that stood for decades in Filipino tennis history as she climbed to a career-high world ranking of number 45. Let that sink in. Eala is now officially the highest-ranked Filipino player in the history of the Women's Tennis Association, and she's showing absolutely no signs of slowing down. This isn't a fluke, beginner's luck, or a passing hot streak. It's the result of years of grinding, sacrifice, training overseas away from family, and battling through injuries. She faced defeats that would have broken lesser athletes and came back stronger every single time. Alex didn't politely ask for permission to enter history, she stormed through and put the Philippines squarely on the global tennis map. That was the moment everything changed. That was the year Alex announced to the world that she was no longer just a promising prospect or a future star. She was here, she was ready, and she was coming for everything. Her breakthrough came with her first WTA 125 title in Guadalajara, where she dominated the competition with a level of play that forced commentators and analysts to completely recalibrate their expectations. Then came the US Open, a tournament that turned historic as Filipino flags waved from New York to Manila. It wasn't just about wins and losses anymore, it was about presence. It was about arrival. It was about making the world stop and pay attention, because history isn't coming someday, it's being made right now in tennis. Eala has firmly placed the Philippines on the global tennis stage, doing what true champions always do, announcing themselves without asking for permission. As 2026 dawned, she came out swinging like a woman possessed. We watched her battle through the brutal qualifiers in Abu Dhabi, taking down opponents who were supposed to be too experienced, too highly ranked, too everything for her to handle. She carried that momentum home, showcasing her talent at the Philippine Women's Open under the crushing weight of home crowd expectations, then carried it forward as she prepared for the present Open with confidence, fire, and the backing of an entire nation beginning to grasp just how special she truly is. This is exactly why Maria Ressa's words carry such immense weight right now. The pressure on Alex's shoulders is enormous, expectations have reached stratospheric levels, and every Filipino with an internet connection is watching, hoping, and praying for her success while critics circle and doubters wait for a single misstep. In this defining moment, to have someone like Maria Ressa who understands scrutiny and pressure better than almost anyone step forward with not just praise but genuine understanding is rocket fuel for a champion's soul. But this story doesn't stop at admiration. What followed went far deeper. This was mentorship. This was wisdom passed from one Filipino icon to another. A woman who has faced legal persecution, relentless harassment, and attempts to silence her truth offered hard-earned guidance to a young athlete navigating her own unforgiving spotlight. According to sources close to both women, Ressa spoke to Alex about what she calls the long game, not tactics for the next match or technical adjustments, but survival, resilience, and the discipline of protecting your integrity when the world is watching. Eala's rise has placed the Philippines firmly on the global tennis stage, and Maria Ressa's guidance, shaped by years of standing firm against powerful forces, centered on mental fortitude and unwavering focus. She warned Alex that as her star continues to rise, the noise will only grow louder. Critics will sharpen their knives, trolls will multiply, and fake news, manufactured controversies, and clickbait headlines designed to tear her down will intensify. We've already seen glimpses of this in Alex's career, moments when baseless rumors and unfair criticism tried to hijack her narrative. But Ressa's advice was crystal clear: hold the line. Your truth is on the court. Your racket is your voice. Do not let them break your focus. Consider the power of that message. A Nobel Peace Prize winner, someone who risked her freedom and her life in defense of truth, telling a young tennis player that her battleground is just as meaningful. Ressa understands that representation matters. She knows that when Alex steps onto the court, she isn't just competing as an individual athlete, she represents every young Filipino who has ever been told they're not good enough, not from the right country, not from the right background. Alex is living proof that excellence knows no geographic boundaries, and Ressa wanted her to understand the magnitude of what she represents without being crushed by its weight. When you stand alone on the baseline, remember you are never truly alone, Ressa reportedly told her. An entire nation stands behind you. Those words carry immense power, the kind of wisdom and support that arrives exactly when it's needed most. This is what separates good athletes from great ones, an understanding that the journey is bigger than themselves, and the ability to draw strength from that truth rather than be paralyzed by it. Ressa also spoke to Alex about resilience, the kind that doesn't just survive storms, but learns how to harness their force. She shared hard-earned insights about facing adversity with grace, holding fast to your principles when compromise would be easier, and finding your center when everything around you feels like chaos. These were lessons Maria Ressa learned through fire, through battles that tested every fiber of her being, and now she was offering them freely to a young woman embarking on her own hero's journey, just on a different battlefield. The mental side of professional tennis is brutally unforgiving. Players spend endless hours alone, traveling from tournament to tournament, living out of suitcases, separated from family and friends, all while carrying the constant pressure to perform. One bad week can send a ranking into freefall. One injury can erase months of progress. The loneliness can be crushing, and doubt has a way of creeping in during the quiet moments. For someone like Maria Ressa to acknowledge that struggle, validate it, and offer guidance for navigating it is priceless. That kind of mentorship can sustain an athlete through the darkest stretches of a career. So how did Eala respond to this extraordinary moment? Did she shrink under the weight of those words or feel overwhelmed by the expectations placed on her young shoulders? Did she politely accept the praise and move on? Absolutely not. And she responded exactly how you'd expect a champion to respond, with fire, with passion, and with a determination strong enough to melt steel. While the private details of their exchange remain sacred, the essence of Eala's response has echoed throughout the Filipino sports community. Those close to the moment say, "Alex, carrying the poise of a veteran and the hunger of a lion on the hunt, made what can only be described as a vow etched into history itself. This was no casual promise or empty declaration. She pledged that she would not play merely to win matches, climb rankings, or collect prize money. She would play to inspire. Every victory would mean more than the scoreboard, and every appearance on court would stand as a living testament to the Filipino spirit. Maria Ressa embodies resilient, unyielding, and impossible to break. Alex committed to becoming more than a great tennis player. She committed to being a symbol of possibility, a beacon of hope for every young Filipino athlete ever told their dreams were too big or their ambitions too bold. She has spoken often about her dream of bringing pride to her country, but those present say something was different this time. This wasn't a soundbite or media rhetoric. It was a young woman looking into the eyes of one of the most important Filipinos alive and making an unbreakable promise. No matter how high she rises, whether she breaks into the top 40, the top 20, or even the top 10, her identity, pride, and roots would never waver. In the days since, that promise has taken on near mythical meaning. It represents a passing of the torch from one generation of Filipino excellence to the next, a bond between dreamers who dare greatly and work relentlessly. It proves that Filipino pride is not empty nationalism, it is a force, a source of power that fuels extraordinary achievement against overwhelming odds. And that is why this story matters, why it's exploding across social media and dominating conversations wherever Filipinos gather, online and in real life. We are witnessing the opening pages of what may one day be remembered as a golden age. Filipino sports is living through a golden age, and that isn't hyperbole, it's objective reality. We've watched Hidalgo Diaz lift Olympic gold and shatter long-held beliefs about what Filipino athletes could achieve. We've seen Carlos Yulo defy gravity and flip his way into history with performances that stunned the world. Across basketball, boxing, and countless other arenas, Filipinos have broken through barriers that once seemed immovable. But tennis is different. It is a global colossus, a sport long dominated by Europe, North America, and Australia, where infrastructure, elite coaching, financial backing, and opportunity are concentrated in just a few regions of the world. For a player from the Philippines, a nation without that same tennis ecosystem, to rise into the upper ranks of the WTA is nearly unprecedented. It demands not only talent, but extraordinary sacrifice, resilience, and an almost superhuman level of dedication. Training far from home, competing in systems built for others, and fighting for every ounce of recognition. When Eala steps onto the court in Doha, Paris, New York, or any major tournament, she isn't just playing for herself, she becomes the Philippines incarnate. Every Filipino watching sees their own struggle reflected in her journey and draws inspiration from her refusal to accept imposed limits. Maria Ressa understands this deeply because she has lived it herself on a different battlefield. When she stood up for press freedom and truth, she wasn't fighting only for herself, but for every Filipino who refuses to be silenced and demands accountability. That parallel is why this connection feels so powerful. Ressa sees Alex engaged in a war of representation. Every upset victory sends a message to the tennis establishment. Every hard-fought match against better-resourced opponents proves that determination can overcome structural disadvantage. Every time Alex walks onto court with the Philippine flag on her sleeve, she is demanding respect and equality among the sports elite. That is why Ressa sees a kindred spirit in her two warriors on different fronts, fighting for the same cause, elevating the Philippines and proving that Filipino excellence belongs at the very top. Alex's story is far from finished. In many ways, it is only beginning. But this moment, this exchange, this recognition, this promise will stand as a defining chapter when history looks back on how she became one of the greatest tennis players the Philippines has ever produced. This is how legends are made, at the intersection of talent, timing, belief, and purpose. And we are witnessing it all unfold in real time.
The hard part is you don't know what it's like until you are attacked. And that's part of the reason I would like some of the men from Silicon Valley to actually trade places with us.
Now, can you give us an update on what you're feeling on your life? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, there's a bit of discomfort and
Today, facts win. Truth wins. Justice wins.